Hi guys, Chronically Jenni here, and it is time for the last in the series of this year's Dysautonomia Awareness Month videos. Thank you for all the videos that you've watched so far, and if you haven't caught them yet, you can head up here and watch the whole playlist. Today we are talking about our top tips for anyone who's living with POTS. Along with the amazing tips from my dysautonomia warriors from around the world, I've also written a blog post with a little rundown of some of my top tips, products and hacks that I use to help with my POTS. So if you want to check that out afterwards, the link is in the description below. But without further ado, let's find out our top tips.
And then the top tip for living with dysautonomia, I would say two things. Learn what your triggers are, what may trigger your symptoms on certain days, and always plan ahead. If you fail to plan, then you plan to fail, is what I say. Always plan ahead with where you're going, what you're doing, and I mean every little thing, you know, when it comes to showering, when it comes to going to the grocery store or to the mall, parking, whether you need a wheelchair assistance, whether you need to be with somebody, whether you need to carry all your medication and make sure that you're fully stocked up, if you're going away on vacation, meal planning, sleep, hydration, the list can go on. These are all things that are very important to our daily health and symptoms. So if we can do our best to mitigate symptoms and avoid triggers and plan ahead for certain things or activities that we may be doing, that would be the best piece of advice that I can give. Because I've been in the shoes of not planning ahead and, you know, it biting me in the butt and having bad episodes or, you know, negative effects from not planning ahead. So definitely always plan ahead and learn your triggers and always plan ahead.
My top tip for living with dysautonomia is to find joy in the small achievements, because sometimes they are actually the biggest achievements. I know things can get rough and it might feel like you're stuck in the same place, you're not moving forward. But taking a shower, putting on clean clothes, getting up out of bed, those are also important things. Cuddling with your dog. Cuddling with your dog is the best thing in the world. Those are also big things. So enjoy the small things because they're actually big.
My top tip for living with dysautonomia is to be an active participant in your healthcare. Ask your doctors or nurses about reputable sources to do some research, and grab the salt shakers with some chutzpah and gather a support system. That might be family, friends, fellow spoonies on social media. There's tons of us, and we love talking about everything that we've tried, our daily life, our routines, and I think each other are a great resource for everyone. It can be awful being a patient. Everything is awful when we feel awful. It seems like there's no hope, but I like to believe that there is a little hope. Some days when I'm crying and mad and frustrated, I feel like there's nothing I can do to make my life better. But there's always the next day or half an hour after that, and there's always a little something that is a little reachable to make our lives a little bit better. And I really just hope all of us can find a glimmer of hope in something.
I've made a video about top tips for POTS before, and I've also written a blog post with all my favourite top products, tips and hacks. So I don't know if I've got much more to say. You know, for me, it's quite basic now. It's always hydrate, salt, sit, wherever possible. That includes sitting in the shower, and that includes hydrating anywhere and everywhere, and putting salt on everything. For the salt one, it's really only if you have low blood pressure and it has been appropriately talked about with a doctor and agreed with a doctor, just in case you have high blood pressure and that is a problem. Basically, the reason that salt is so important for people with POTS is because it increases your ability to hold on to fluids. So it helps you stay more hydrated, and then increases blood volume and increases your circulation, which helps your symptoms. So yes, my top tip, keep on top of the fluids, keep on top of the salt if you have low blood pressure and it's been agreed with your doctor, and sit down where you can, especially if it's hot, especially in the shower. Get yourself a shower stool.
My top tip for living with these things, besides listening to your new community and the things that they have to offer, is just treating every day like a new day. Meaning your body probably won't be the same every day as the day before, and that's okay. It has been really challenging sometimes, but I try to treat it like an adventure that is always changing, just like everything else. And just trying to meet my body where it's at.
So my top tip for living with dysautonomia or POTS is to be prepared. Have a box of things that have items and aids that can help you for when you're feeling really unwell. So for example, I have compression socks in there, I have salt tablets, I have hydration tablets, I have salty snacks, I have headache bands, anything that really helps you ease your symptoms if you're starting to flare, and have it somewhere accessible and really easily to reach, so there's not much effort required in order to get things to help you and make you feel a little bit better and make your life a little bit more comfortable when you're feeling really poorly. So do your research on what could help, and have a nice little cute flare box filled with all the things that can hopefully make you feel just a little bit better than you are now. You know, keep going, keep trying. You can do this. It's hard and it's horrible, but just keep going. Surround yourself with people that understand and support you and love you. And love yourself. Give yourself time to grieve, to feel your feelings, to understand what's happening a little more. You know, there'll always be a better day some days. Some days may not feel like it, but there'll always be a better day.
There's a lot of different tips that you kind of get told either by specialists or by other people with POTS. So things like compression stockings, drinking enough water, eating lots of salt. I think my top tip, and it's not an easy one unfortunately, is to practice being an advocate for yourself. And this is something that I'm still learning, like 32 years on, and it's, as I said, it's not an easy tip to kind of, you know, it's not necessarily a practical tip, it's a bit more of like an emotional tip. But I have definitely learned over the years that if I don't advocate for myself, nobody else is going to do it. And so the only way I've managed to get any kind of help is by speaking up and by fighting and by continually going back and forward to doctors until somebody listens to me. And for not, you know, if a doctor has said to me it's all in your head, for not letting them like win almost. I don't know, that sounds a bit weird, but you know, if I believe something's not right, I will fight tooth and nail until somebody listens to me. And as I said, it's not easy, especially when you're continually knocked back. But I guess my biggest tip would just be that know your worth and know that you are worthy of treatment, you are worthy of help, however difficult it is to get it. you just, yeah, you have to keep fighting and, you know, enlist the people around you, talk to other people with POTS, because that's like talking to other people with my conditions is honestly what keeps me going sometimes. Knowing that I'm not in this alone, and that when things are really crap, there are other people there who understand it. I don't think I would have kept fighting if I didn't have the support of the POTS community, the EDS community, you know, the chronic illness community in general. And there's been so many times when I've just wanted to quit, but I've spoken to people and I've heard their stories, and I've heard how they've fought and how they've kind of managed to get the right treatment or to see the right person, and it's just given me that like little boost to keep going. So I guess that's kind of long-winded, but I guess my biggest tip would just be to know your worth and to know that you're deserving of treatment. And I know it's not a particularly practical tip for like making your POTS better immediately, but I just think it's a really, really important thing that I'm still trying to learn and still trying to get right. And it's something that I would want to pass on to other people.
And with that, we have come to the end of our final Dysautonomia Awareness Month video for 2020. Thank you guys so much for watching and supporting, and please continue to watch, like, and share these videos throughout the year, because people with POTS and dysautonomia do not just live with them for 1 month of the year, they are there every single day. Remember, if you want more top tips, hacks and products to help with your POTS, head to my blog post down in the description. Thank you guys again for watching.